How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the third episode of the Smart Money Show. First and foremost, I want to apologize for being very inactive for the past 2 months, not uploading any episodes. But I am back. I'm going to be posting consistently for the every 1 to 2 weeks. So once again, apologies for that. So in today's topic, we're going to discuss a very, very important topic that a lot of people struggle with, whether you're a beginner, whether you're a very experienced trader. A lot of people struggle with this topic, and it is how to deal with losses. The topic is losses in general, okay? But what I'm going to be discussing today is how to deal with losses, okay? So obviously, losses, how we look at losses and how losses affect our game simply all leads back to our emotions, okay? A loss itself, okay, the loss itself is not bad and it's not good. What makes the loss bad is how we perceive it. So based off of everything that we kind of do in life, we perceive that red is bad, green is good. Losing something is bad. It makes us panic, okay? Losing your phone, you start panicking. Losing money, you start panicking. Whatever it is, losing something getting taken away from you, okay, is considered very, very bad. So it's all about the perception right here. So what you have to do, one of the first things that you have to do as a beginner, and maintaining that, of course, over the course, becoming an experienced trader, becoming a professional trader, okay, you have to maintain this, is obviously you have to reprogram the way you look at losses. And there's multiple ways to do it, and I'm going to mention a few in a moment. Okay, so you need to reprogram the way you think of losses. If you think of loss as a bad thing, straight away you're sending signals into your brain and it starts flashing red and you start getting emotional. And when you take a loss and you get emotional, that's when you start making all those stupid mistakes like revenge trading, okay, guess trading, etc., etc. So you need to make sure to program your brain, okay, and building a system to understand that the loss is part of the game. Now, obviously, it's very, very simple. Okay, you can tell yourself right now that, okay, the loss is very, very simple. It's part of the game. I know that I'm going to end up taking losses, etc., etc. But when you end up taking that loss, okay, then everything that you were telling yourself literally 5 minutes ago after you entered the trade is gone to the drain. And now you start making those stupid mistakes once again. Okay, so there's a few things that you need to be able to do. First of all, you need to have self-awareness. It's very, very important, having self-awareness. Understanding how emotionally stable you are while you're in a trade, your pain threshold. What I mean by pain threshold is some people, they can afford to take 10 losses and they literally will not hesitate to take the second trade. Okay, they'll keep taking trades. They understand that they're very, very strong. They're very, very disciplined. They have a very, very high pain threshold, so they can withstand seeing 10 reds in their history, in their MT4 terminal. Okay, so they can see 10 reds. And now with the pain threshold, most of the time, it actually does not matter at all how big your loss is. Like you can literally have -$1 for 10 trades in your MT4 history, but seeing that red itself starts triggering your pain, okay? It starts triggering those pressure points and you start flashing red, okay? And this is where you start getting emotional. So self-awareness is key right here, because what self-awareness allows you to do is to understand, okay, so I understand that a lower time frame trader is going to take obviously a lot more losses than a higher time frame trader, okay? So if I have a very, very low pain threshold and I cannot withstand seeing a lot of red in my MT4 account, then I save myself a hassle. I don't put myself through that pain. And usually what I will do is end up leaning towards higher time frame trading, because I know my win rate is going to be higher. I'm taking the quantity of the trades is much, much lower. The trades are probably going to be higher probable on the higher time frame. So I'm going to be taking less losses. So what I'm doing right here is I'm avoiding hitting my pain threshold, hitting the limit of my pain threshold, okay? Because here's a misconception about emotions. People think that even after 5 years of trading, you can suppress and limit your emotions, which is obviously not true. You can't simply just get rid of your emotions 100%. But sorry, going back to it, you obviously can limit your emotions to a certain extent. Okay, so you can limit, you can suppress to a certain extent, of course, but you cannot just diminish your emotions completely. It's not possible. Okay, obviously, as time goes along and as it comes with experience, you'll be able to handle your emotions much, much better. And the thing with emotions is everyone knows how to deal with it on their own. Okay, everyone kind of knows how to teach themselves on their own. Everyone knows how to recover on their own. Everyone knows how to heal on their own. All of these different things. When we look at our own personality, when we look at our own characteristics, when we look at our emotions, we all have our own way of dealing with things. So the key here is it's very, very difficult for me. I can obviously only tell you general things, but I cannot come on here and tell you this is how you deal with the loss. Okay, this is what you do. This is step 1, 2, and 3. I can only give you general because at the end of the day, you just need to be self-aware enough to know how to deal with it yourself. And that is very, very simple. Like, you don't need to be able to know how to deal with it right now. Okay, especially if you're earlier on in your journey. This is something that comes after 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years of trading. Eventually, you'll build that competence. Okay, eventually you'll build that self-awareness in yourself, understanding your limits, understanding that a loss obviously is not a bad thing at all. Okay, actually, 100% of the time, we don't take a loss much, much easier when you know that every other thing that led up to that trade you did was correct. So you feel like your analysis was good. Okay, you feel like you risk properly. So if you risk 1% and you stay within that 1% and you only lose that 1% that you have allocated for that trade, then accepting that trade becomes much, much easier. You end up taking that loss much, much easier. Whereas if this was a guess trade, or if this was a revenge trade, or if you over risked, over leverage on this trade, and you end up taking that loss, well, straight away, obviously, you went into this trade and obviously you weren't supposed to. Okay, so throughout holding that entire trade, you're very, very anxious. The nerves were at a high. Okay, and you just kept watching the trade, etc., etc. So that whole build up, everything, all those nerves, all those emotions were building up while you're in that trade, because the simple fact is that you knew you weren't supposed to take that trade. And once that trade ends up blowing up and becoming a loss, then all of those emotions that you were building up for the past hours that you were holding that trade literally just come out. And then what does this lead you on to do? It leads you on to making the same mistake once again, and it becomes a cycle. So one of the most important things is you need to make sure that you never fall into the trap of taking that one big loss. Because if you take that one big loss, especially if you have a low pain threshold, and it's very, very normal, even for me personally, even after trading for quite a long time, okay, I'm fairly comfortable, I understand my limits, etc. I know that I have a low pain threshold. So this is why you see me a lot of time when I'm trading, I'm sticking, and I say this to you guys on the Zooms all the time, I'm usually sticking to the higher time frames because I know personally I have a low pain threshold. If I go into lower time frames and I take a lot of loses in succession, then I end up making mistakes. Okay, so making sure that, once again, it always leads back to self-awareness, making sure that because I am self-aware, that I know my limits, and I make sure that I don't take one trade that ends up messing and putting me off balance. Because if you end up breaking that cycle of just respecting your rules, okay, and actually being able to take those losses, everything is going nice for you, okay, and then you take that one big trade, whether you over leverage, whether you over risk, basically, if you just go once out of your trading system, okay, if you go against your trading system and you take that one big loss, okay, then there's going to be trouble, because now you have put yourself at a very, very high risk of, boom, triggering your pain pressure points, and you're just going to jump in and make those mistakes that we simply talked about. Okay, so it's a very, very important thing that you avoid taking that one big loss. Even if you do, for example, let's say you revenge traded or you guess traded. Well, the most 100%, like the most important thing that you want to make sure to do is risk management. Risk management. Making sure that you're risking that 0.5% or that 1% max. Okay. So even if you do end up, and once again, even till this day. Sometimes I'm having an off day, and look, it's very easy for me to say, okay, if you have an off day, don't trade or this or that. Okay, it's emotions. At the end of the day, sometimes you get confused. Sometimes I don't even know if I'm having an off day. Okay, sometimes I don't even know if I'm happy today or if I'm in a bad mood or whatever it is. Okay, so what you're doing is to protect yourself, because you know you will always make one mistake. There's not one single trader out there that trades, okay, consistently without one single mistake for a whole year. It's not possible. The only thing that is able to do that is an algo or a robot that simply does that when there's no emotions involved. But because we're humans, we're able to make mistakes. Okay, we're 100% going to be making mistakes. The difference is between the successful trader and the profitable trader and the trader that can hold out for a long time and not blow their account is they make sure that that mistake does not cost them their whole account. Okay, so they make sure that they're risking that 0.5%. So even if you do end up losing that one trade, okay, I lose that 0.5%, even though that was a mistake, it wasn't good analysis, whatever it is. At the end of the day, it is only 0.5%. Yes, what I like to do is dealing with that loss. Okay, I like to reevaluate. Okay, and see what did I do wrong in that trade. Basically reevaluate. Did this trade not work out because there was bad analysis there? Was it emotions? Was it like, did I revenge trade? Should I have taken out this trade because it reached a specific low? Or was there like another point of interest that ended up causing the reaction? Or was it a session change time over? Whatever it is, okay? Being able to analyze why I took that loss usually calms me down, because a lot of time when you take that loss, okay, usually in the 10 minutes, okay, the first 10 minutes of you taking that loss, you feel nervous, okay? Especially if you did not like, especially if you felt like it wasn't a 100% good trade, okay, there was a few things missing there. You start feeling a bit pissed off that like, oh, I kind of made a mistake. So what I like to do is analyze the trade. Okay, just even analyze it quickly in my head for 5 minutes, and then I say to myself, okay, these are the points that I'm going to make sure that I don't take. Okay, these are the things that I make sure that I'm not going to make a mistake in the next time. These points have been noted. I won't make this mistake again. Okay. And once again, obviously, this leads back to the point where I make sure, once again, that I do not take that one big loss, because us, once again, as humans, we're going to make mistakes. So if I know that I'm going to make mistakes, well, let me make sure that mistake is small. I don't want that mistake to cost me. Okay. So that is pretty much it for this episode. As I said, guys, I wanted to keep it short and sweet for you guys. So hopefully you guys have a bit more of a better insight on how to deal with losses. We'll most likely be going deeper into this once again, how to deal with losses, because this is once again an endless topic that you can look at from so many different perspectives. We'll probably bring on some other traders, invite some guests on here to speak about their experience on how they deal with losses, because as I said, everyone has their own way, and it's really, really nice to look at it from a lot of different points of views. So with that being said, I appreciate every single one of you guys for tuning in. I will catch you guys on the next episode. Have a great night or day wherever you are.